If you've ever driven through northern New Mexico, you know for sure that one name is just woven into the absolute fabric of the landscape: Martínez. I mean, it's literally everywhere. It's one of the largest and oldest family clans in the entire region, with countless descendants still living there right now. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're not just looking at a dry family tree. We're going to uncover a 400-year-old tale of pure survival and adaptation. We're going to find out how one single soldier established a legacy that quite literally defined a region. So, you might be wondering, where did this massive family actually begin? Well, to answer that, we have to jump all the way back to the brink of utter disaster. We're talking 1598. The Spanish colonial project in the Americas was struggling, and that is putting it very mildly. There was absolutely no gold, the conditions were brutally harsh, and people were just giving up and fleeing in droves. 30. By 1609, out of all the original Spanish colonists who had marched out into that frontier, only about 30 stubborn soldier settlers remained. Just 3 dozen men. And if it weren't for this tiny, deeply committed core, the entire effort would have completely collapsed. Section 1, a stubborn founding father and the choice to stay. Let's look at the man who started it all, Hernán Martín Serrano the Elder. Born in a Zacatecas mining boomtown, Hernán was a true son of the frontier from day one. In 1598, he joins the expedition into New Mexico, and he brings horses, utensils, even a heavy millstone, which, signals he really intended to build a life. But actually, scratch that, even he considered packing it in around 1601. He looked around at the lack of riches and seriously thought about leaving. But notice the key takeaway here. His survival, and really the survival of the entire colony, hinged on his choice to stay. He and that tiny core of men were the absolute linchpin. They kept New Mexico from becoming just another forgotten lost cause. And that incredible loyalty absolutely did not go unnoticed by the crown. By 1626, historical records start referring to him with this very prestigious formal title, Antiguo Poblador y Vecino de Santa Fe. This wasn't just some casual nickname they threw around. It meant old settler and tax-paying citizen. It was an official stamp of approval, cementing his status as a true founding father of the new capital city, a guy who had earned his place in history through just sheer endurance. Which brings us to Section 2, forging a new culture, the bridge between worlds. Because Hernán's legacy goes way beyond just building forts. Enter Doña Inés. The Spanish records describe her as an India muy ladina, which means a highly acculturated Indian woman. Her story is honestly incredible. Taken from her Taino homeland as a little girl by a previous expedition, she learned Spanish ways, but when she returned to New Mexico, she was not a captive. No way. She was a powerful, vital interpreter, navigating seamlessly between 2 completely different worlds. So the union between Hernán, the frontier soldier, and Doña Inés, the Taino cultural translator, resulted in something profoundly new. This marks the birth of the Nuevo Mexicanos, the mestizo people of New Mexico. Their children literally embodied a brand new culture. They carried their father's European military traditions, sure, but they remained deeply rooted in their mother's ancestral connection to the land and its indigenous languages. Section 3, 2 paths to influence and how the brothers built a legacy. Hernán, the elder, had 2 widely known mestizo sons, and they both openly embraced their mixed heritage. But notice their contrasting approaches here. Hernán the younger stayed rooted in Santa Fe, capitalizing on his mother's linguistic skills. He becomes an interpreter and a businessman, operating a textile workshop. Now contrast that with his brother Louis. Louis moves out to La Cañada and takes a much more political and military route. He becomes a chief magistrate, a war captain, and a massive family rancher. It's fascinating. One brother builds influence through commerce and language, the other through politics and land. And guys, the sheer physical stamina of these men is absolutely astounding. There's this vivid historical description of Hernán the Younger from 1681, right after the Pueblo Revolt. He was over 80 years old at this point, yet military musters describe him as robust, of good stature, with a gray beard and the film over his left eye. Let that sink in. Even in his late 70s and 80s, he was still passing muster, still serving as a soldier, still acting as an interpreter of the Jumana language for expeditions into Texas. He just simply refused to quit. And that physical stamina translated directly into generational vigor. Through multiple marriages over a very long life, Hernán the Younger ensured the absolute survival of his line. Look at how rapidly this family tree branches out. It was this sheer volume of descendants, dozens of children and grandchildren, that guaranteed the family's survival.
It's the reason his descendants eventually returned to famously resettle New Mexico alongside Diego de Vargas in the 1690s.
Which leads us to our final section, the evolution to Martínez, a centuries-long linguistic shift. So you might be thinking, how did we actually get from Martín Serrano to Martínez? Well, it wasn't some sudden legal name change. In the 1600s, the founding generations proudly carried the full name, Martín Serrano. Then, as we move into the 1700s, descendants dropped Serrano just for efficiency. They were simply known as Martín. Finally, by the 1800s, the linguistic shift was pretty much complete. The family universally adopted the patronymic version we recognize today, Martínez. It's this natural, organic evolution that perfectly matches the massive expansion of a single family. The story of Hernán Martín Serrano and his descendants is just a really powerful reminder that behind every common surname is a deeply uncommon history of grit, adaptation, and blending cultures. So I want to leave you with this final thought. What kind of founding stories, resilience, and complex identities are waiting to be uncovered in your own family tree? I mean, if one single soldier and a brilliant Taino interpreter can leave a 400-year legacy that defines a whole region, who knows what amazing history is hiding in your own DNA? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep digging into those roots.